someone has attempted a murder. The theme of these episodes is murder mystery. What about your concept of murder? Let's talk about that. There are two types of ways to develop the concept of an idea. First is the natural. An idea can be naturally conceptualized by someone's observations or personal experience, such as watching a murder mystery like this one. From this observation, a person can determine whether or not something is a murder, therefore understanding the concept. You can also understand a concept through artificial means, such as being given criteria or instructions that will allow you to identify, for example, a murder. Based on these criteria and observations, you have developed a schema. A schema is your perception or interpretation of a situation based on your past experiences. Now, be prepared to accommodate or allow new information to reform your schema. If you refuse to change your schema, you are assimilating. Your schema for this situation might be your typical movie type murder, where you may include a prototype. A prototype is the prime example when you think of a category, such as weapons in this instance, which the prototype might be a knife. This situation involves poison as the main weapon.
Hello, 911. I think there's a suspicious person coming from my neighbor's house. Yeah, get here quickly. I think something happened. Hello? I'm gonna go check.
Oh my god! Ma'am? Ma'am? Are you okay? Oh my god.
I thought you were dead.
Let's talk about amnesia. Amnesia is extreme memory loss that can be due to physical or psychological trauma. There are two common types of amnesia that are usually physically based. Retrograde amnesia is when a person cannot remember personal or episodic memories from the past, but they can remember facts or their declarative memory. A person may remember how to play a piano piece from their past, but they might not have the implicit memory or the automatic link of past experiences that they may have linked with that piano piece. Anterograde amnesia is when a person has lost the ability to form new memories. They can remember their past, but from the time of their incident, they can't form anything new and nothing is transferred into their long-term memory. Alzheimer's is another form of memory loss. It is characterized by a gradual deterioration of memory, sometimes linked with old age.
Brown curly hair, brown eyes, black clothes, brown curly hair, brown eyes, black clothes. You know what? She looks a lot like Mary.
Hello, ma'am. We've received your call. I have some questions.
Okay, go ahead.
What were you doing when you saw a suspicious person?
I was just tending to my garden out here.
Well, what exactly happened? She came out of the house?
Yeah, she was wearing this like weird black getup. Like it reminded me of the TV show I watched last night, and she kind of looked like my great aunt.
She knows this information because it was encoded, meaning that it could be stored, processed, and retrieved later on. Automatic processing was used here. She remembered that she was tending to her garden because she does it every week. There was little to no effort needed when encoding this information. It's similar to remembering what you ate for breakfast this morning. She can also recall the smell of the grass if you ask her right now. but this is part of her sensory memory, meaning that it'll only disappear in about 1 second. She used effortful processing when she was trying to remember the woman's appearance. She repeated the words over and over again, trying to remember what she looked like. However, this is probably the least effective method. This is called maintenance rehearsal. Here, with this method, it is shown that she experiences an encoding failure. She is unable to remember this information and decides that it will be ineffective and moves on to something else. This something is called elaborative rehearsal. This method consists of comparing or relating the information to something already stored in her memory. In this situation, the neighbor used associations such as her great aunt and the TV show she watched last night. When asked about the situation later, she will recall hearing police cars, which is due to her echoic memory, and she will recall seeing the woman running past, which is due to her iconic memory.
Wait, I didn't bring one.
Everybody stay back.
Stay back.
We're on the case.
These detectives are using an algorithm, which is a thorough procedure in which all solutions are considered. Some may think, wow, this is really drawn out and way too long. Like, yeah, maybe they could have used a heuristic or rule of thumb. But you have to give them credit, because that's just their mental set. They have a tendency to approach a specific problem with this specific solution because that's just how it worked countless times. And the victim's alive, so, like, what's the rush? She will read a letter she wrote by chunking or grouping the letters into a single meaningful item to make a word. First, they use divergent thinking, and they explore all the possible solutions or suspects on their string board. Then they use convergent thinking and narrow it down to just one. In the meantime, they will conduct routine testing, which will be in periodic small increments, known as the spacing effect or periodic retrieval. This will allow her to consistently retrieve and recall the information and remember it in the long term. In addition, she will use mnemonic devices to help her remember the information.
Look around. Do you remember anything? I don't think so. Why are you looking at me like that?
Scare you. Remember anything now?
Maybe.
Do you remember the suspect's name?
It's on the tip of my tongue.
Trying to stimulate your memory.
Thank you. I think I'm remembering something. I remember now.
When you're a lawyer, you have to be careful when framing your questions, meaning that the way you form a question might influence the way in which a witness will respond. Here are 2 scenarios that demonstrate this effect. Scenario 1.
Was the suspect holding anything capable of murder?
I saw her holding a knife.
This scenario was the harsher of the 2, and it included a distortion in the answer. Now, here's a properly framed question.
Was the suspect holding anything when you saw them?
Yeah, I think she was holding some kind of glass bottle.
This question was non-specific and did not suggest anything to the witness in order to influence their response. Now, the prosecutor will try to prime her memory with the poison bottle.
Does this bottle prime or activate any association in your memory that may encourage retrieval?
Yes, that was the bottle of poison.
Now the detectives have gotten enough information to track this guy. Look, there they go.
I've gotten away with this so many times. There's no way I'll get caught. I've already put so much into it. Might as well see it through.